Hello everyone, welcome back. So today is December 14th, and today was the date that the states were supposed to certify their electoral votes for the president, okay? And officially they did certify for Biden, okay? And I'm not gonna call him president or president-elect or whatever, just Biden, that's all he is, he's just a Biden, okay? So the interesting thing here is that that Pennsylvania and two other states, the state legislatures, they certified their votes for Trump. Okay, so it's kind of like unofficial, right? Because the state itself, the state hasn't accepted that. So what's going to happen is that, and when I mean the state, I mean the other elected officials of the state, like the governor, and so forth. So what's going to happen here is on January 6th, okay, the states are supposed to send their electors to the Senate, okay? And what's going to happen is in some states like Pennsylvania, you're going to have what we call competing electors, okay? You're going to have one set of Republican electors for Trump and one set of Democrat electors for Biden. And what's supposed to happen is that, this goes to the president of the Senate to certify, okay? And the president of the Senate is the vice president of the United States. That's Pence. So what's going to happen is that Pence is going to get two sets of electors from at least from three of the states, right? And what Pence is now in a position to say, hey, he's got two sets of electors, and you know what? He doesn't know which is the correct one. And for that reason, he cannot certify the election. Okay, so Pence cannot declare Trump the winner. All he can say is that he's got two sets of electors and he doesn't know which is the correct one, and therefore he does not certify the election results. And then what happens is then it gets thrown over to the House, right, where each state gets one electoral vote through the state legislature, and only the state legislature, and that's really important because there 31 of the state legislatures are Republican dominated. So Trump would easily win that way. So this is really interesting. It all comes down to Trump. It all comes down to Pence now. Vice President Pence is really the one that gets to that basically gets to approve of Biden, or say, no, we're going to have another vote, okay? And that vote, again, would happen in the House the way I described before. So it all comes down to Pence and how much of a stomach he has for this fight, okay? But yeah, it's definitely doable. The state legislatures in Pennsylvania and two other states made it possible, okay? So don't give up hope yet. Interesting question is, how is it so? How is it that it is so easy for the vice president to throw a monkey wrench into the system this way? Because hey, right now the vice president happens to be a Republican, but what if he was a Democrat, and he was doing the same thing in reverse? Well, here's the interesting thing. When they wrote up the Constitution, they never expected that there would just be two dominant political parties, right? And it always would come down to, one of two people, competing for the presidency. Okay, they expected that there would be 3 and 4 and maybe 5 people running for the president, and they never expected that in the first round that anybody would actually get the 270 votes. Okay, so that's what it was. I mean, the November 3rd election was basically, it was intended to be just the first round to narrow it down to the top 3 contenders. Okay, so that's what the Constitution says. Basically, the House would have to pick from the top 3 contenders. Okay, so they never expected that anybody would actually win in the first round, because they didn't expect anybody would actually get the 270 votes if there was more than just 2 people, 2 strong candidates running. So it was always expected that it would become a contingent election, and the House would always be the one voting for the president, and the Senate would always be the one voting for the vice president. Okay, and basically the Senate would pick from the top two contenders. That's how that's written. So really interesting. Hey, I'm glad we're still in the fight. I'm glad that the founding fathers had the foresight to write the Constitution the way that they did. But yeah, the fight's not over. It all comes down to Vice President Pence. Okay? All he has to do is on January 6th say, hey, I've got two slates of electors here from Pennsylvania and two other states, and I cannot, I don't know which is the correct one. I cannot certify these votes, and then boom, moves on to the next step. Thanks for watching. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.